The text function is commonly used to turn, let's say, a number or a date into text. You could also wrap a text function around something that you're not sure if it's going to be text, but you need to use it as text. So might as well just wrap a text function around it. One of the big reasons that it's used is to format. Okay. It converts any value and formats a number or date time to a string of text. Now let's go down here. There are predefined date time formats. Now, a lot of times what I'll do, if I wanted something like this, I would just wrap a text function around it and say month slash day slash year, 4-digit year, and it would do the exact same thing. But if you use these, all you got to do is type in date time format dot and then pick from all these different options that come up. I'm going to go over here to Power Apps. So I'm going to bring over a classic label. And what I'm going to do here in this label, I'm going to make it quite a bit bigger. And let's make that maybe 20 or 30. That looks good. Make it nice and easy to see. Now, what I'd like to do, I'd like to add a button. And I'm going to throw the current date time into a global variable. Now, typically, I don't like to use global variables. I like to use locals, but this video isn't about variables. So I'm just going to use a set, create a global, and I'm going to call this GBL, short for global.
Yep.
And I'm going to say date time. And what I'm going to set it to, how do we put the current date and time in there?
You could use today, right? Today function.
We could. Now, today would not include a time. I mean,
Oh,
would it? Do you think it would include a time? It probably puts in midnight if we.
true.
you know.
Right. Yeah.
So how do we get at the current date and time?
Is there a now function?
Oh, now. Okay, there we go.
Okay,
Good
cool.
guess. All right. So I'm going to hold down the Alt on my keyboard. I'm going to click on that button. So now if I click on this little variable name, you see that boom, 7/3/2024. Okay. I'm going to double click, hit Control C, go down to this label. And instead of having a string literal like that, I'm going to paste that in there and look at that.
Yep.
So it automatically gives us the text representation here. Okay. Now we're supposed to use text because that's what we're learning today. And let's say short. I'm sorry. What's the enumeration? Do you remember what we had on the other screen?
It was short time or short date.
It's this date time format. I'm going to copy that.
Hmm.
And then over here, I'm also going to put a border around here. You can't do that with modern labels yet. I'm going to paste that and then type, oh, look at all this. What about
Right.
UTC? Look at that. That's a UTC format. It sort of looks ugly. It's got a Z at the end. Okay.
Hmm.
Let's try long date. Okay, so it's got the name spelled out. So that
Nice.
is how you do that. Just remember you have date, time, format, and then it's a enumerated value, which means if you use that name, you can hit a dot and you get to pick from a list. So that sort of helps you code. And let's try military time here. Okay, so once we
That
hit
one includes the seconds. Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
interesting. So let's go over here. So we got long date time, so on and so forth. Now, I'm going to be honest. I never use that because I can never memorize them. So what I do is I'm going to say, oh look, if we don't we don't provide a format, it's going to give us maybe that's the Julian date. Have you ever heard of Julian dates?
Mm, the that like the calendar. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like a whole number representation of the date, I believe. It's been a few years since I've been at my community college learning about all that. But okay, so in here, typically what I would do is say in capital, month, day, year. Okay, doesn't like that. So we're going to say lowercase month, lowercase day, and then the year. So that's something important to remember. Not uppercase, it's going to be lowercase. And then if we wanted the time, I could say hour, colon, minute, second.
Very cool.
You know what I find amazing, Matt? If you look at this, here is a month, but here is the minute.
So there's something in the background uh, describing that this is for month and this is for minute.
Yeah, it's intelligent to know the difference. Now, if I typed in uppercase there, still doesn't like it. I'll leave that
Yeah.
lowercase there. Now, I'm sort of curious if we were to say minute, second,
Oh, it does do it.
year.
Hmm. Something to do with the colons.
Now, if we take this out,
Wow.
it's still maybe because we have the second there.
Yeah.
All right, so check this out. We keep the colons.
Then it changes it to the
It
month.
changes it to month. Look at that.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna hit Control Z. I am like really impressed that the undo actually works there. Okay, so I'm gonna blow your mind here. So what about milliseconds? You think we can do anything with milliseconds here?
Probably, but it won't update in real time, will it?
No. Now if we
Yeah.
clicked on that button, it would, because
Oh.
if I change this to
Oh, we would need a
now,
timer for that. Yeah. Timer button.
now if I use F 262 F F. So we're just gonna, and that makes sense. 3-digit milliseconds. Now, why is it? Why does F mean milliseconds? Probably because we got M's for month, we got M's for
Yeah.
minutes. We don't need another one. Now, if I took
Yeah.
off and I just had one F, it shows me the full 3 digits there. Now, this is military time, as you can. Well, let's see here. 13. No, that's not right. Um, is that right?
No, 13 would be 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so now, yeah,
Hmm.
the minute. No, just a few minutes. Okay, hold on a second. If I copy and paste this thing here, let's look and see what this thing was. Let's take out that. We'll take out that. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I see what's going on here. I,
Oh,
I
you don't have the hours.
hour.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hour, minute, second, millisecond. And I would say that this is actually military time, and we won't find out until one. Now we could type in a something here like to see if it's military. But what I do here, if I don't like military time, AM, PM,
There you go.
and if you type it like that, it's going to give you the AM versus the PM.
Nice.
So that I mentioned that. Okay, now what about numbers? Let's put a number in. Well, I don't want to use that. I'm gonna just copy and paste these little labels here, and we'll say 57. Is that a prime number? I don't know. I just picked 57 here, and I didn't have to use text in order for it to go there. Now, if I
Because
were to, mhm,
because it was a text label, right?
yeah. So if you try to put something there, a text label is going to automatically typecast it to a string or a text because that's really the only thing it can display there. And also realize if you have a text input, okay, you can put that down here. Let's make it a little larger. Maybe make that 30 as well. With a classic input control, we could go in here. Now you see the text in the text input is text input. If I
Mhm.
change this format to number, it's gone because it's only going to not only allow numerics, but even if the value is set there, it's still not going to show it. So if I try to type anything
Kinda
there, yeah, now
automatically deletes it. Yeah.
yeah, now we could put decimal places in there. We could probably put a minus symbol. I wonder if we could do a dollar sign. It allows that.
Okay.
Oh, there's a space. I wonder if it allows me to put a space there. Nope.
Oh, okay. So
Now,
there's a lot of validation going on in this.
yeah, out of the box. Isn't that nice?
Yep.
And we can enable spell check if we wanted to. We got a clear button and all that type of stuff.
Nice.
But if you try to patch a data source, and let's say it's a numeric type or a currency type, what have you, if you try to say, okay, this is the value I want to patch in there, and even though you say number, the type of data is that if you try to patch and you say text input one dot text, it is still going to see it as a text, and the data source is going to complain. You get red squigglies in your patch. Say, hey, we're expecting a number, and you gave us text. So no bueno.
Okay.
All right, so we've talked about all the formats. Number placeholders. Okay, this is very useful, in my opinion. If you use zeros, displays the insignificant zeros if a number has fewer digits. Okay, so if we go over here and I'm going to copy and paste, and what I'm going to do is whatever is typed in this text input one, that's what I want to appear here. Okay, now what happens if I were to take out these decimal places? It takes them out here. So what we could do, we're going to rely on the text function, and then we're going to give it the double quotes. And in here, we want it to be a currency format. So we do want the dollar sign, and then we want a space, and then we want the numbers. Now, you notice on the previous screen, we could use hashtags here
Hmm.
because we would want commas,
Yep.
and I would say dot zero zero. Now that is okay. Well, that's the default. Probably what I should do, I'm going to make a copy of this label, put it down here, and I'm going to copy that, put it in this label. I don't think okay. Well, I'm expecting it to give us those two decimal places. So let's go back over here and see what's going on. Um, for example, use a format, blah, blah, if you want to display 8.9 or 8.90.
Yeah.
And we've done that. Okay, now the pound sign follows the same rules as zero. However, the text doesn't return any extra zeros. The number has fewer digits. So that's what I like on the left side of the decimal place there.
Hmm.
I'm going to get rid of that text box. And this thing is a label. And I'm looking at that text input. Now, for some reason, it's not showing us that. That takes us to another function
Okay.
called value. Any ideas of what the value function would do for us?
Um, it'll take what you give it and it'll change it to, would it be an int or
It would convert it to a numeric type,
numeric
which
type?
could be a whole number, could be decimal.
Okay.
So let's try this because right now it's taking this value and it's already text, and now it's just going to format it.
Okay.
But if we're going to do something like this, it needs to be a number, not
Yeah.
text. So text is great, but even for formatting, use value. If you ever need to turn a string or something into a value, and now we have that pretty format. And not only do we have the one comma, we got the commas
Oh,
all the way out.
yeah,
Isn't
I
that
see
cool?
that. Yeah, that's cool.
All
So you don't
right.
have, even in your formatting, you don't have to explicitly say every comma that right
Yeah.
here. That's cool.
Yeah. So if to sort of go to their point here, let's say something was $1.99. Now you notice it doesn't show any of these ones that have been specified by the pound signs,
Yeah.
hashtags. Okay. We could have then we use a period for the decimal, and we did use the comma there. Okay. Okay, so here's where we get into all the placeholders that I've already showed you guys. So just a regular, just a single M is the month without the leading zero. And if you want, if we go over here, it's July. So if we wanted that leading zero, well, we actually do it right here. If I take out that extra M, if it's only one digit, it's only going to show one. But let's say we're in December, it would show the full 12.
Yeah.
But sometimes you want the zeros to be displayed. So you got 2 digits slash 2 digits slash 4.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, if you use 3, it's going to give you the short abbreviation for the month. If you use 4 M's, you're going to get the full month spelled out. So D is for days. Similar type of thought here. The more D's that you use, the longer expression of that day it will be. So we got two digit numbers for the year or 4 digit numbers. And hopefully the world learned its lesson with the Y2K bug that even if it's okay to display the year in 2 digit numbers, but as far as in storing things in a database, we always want to store the 4 digits. All right, so we got hours. Two H's is going to give us the 2 digits. If the format contains AM or PM, the hour is shown in the 12 hour. Otherwise, the hour is based on, okay, that's very interesting. And then over here, the placeholder must appear immediately after the H or HH in order for it to be the minute. Otherwise, it's considered a month.
Yeah.
Then we got seconds, two digit seconds. And here's the AM PM. It looks like we could just abbreviate it to A/P. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if you throw any of these characters in there, it's going to be displayed literally, you know.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind it would be inside these double quotes,
Hmm.
so it won't try to interpret that as an operator, like addition, subtraction, division, that type of stuff. All right. Um, the text function is globally aware. Okay, so it works with other languages. Um, Now there is a language function, and you as a PowerUps developer can know um, if it's what language they're configured as. Um, the language tag is a language tag returned from the language function. Okay, so it's telling you about that. In US, that's what we would get. Okay, and here are some examples. Now I've already given you guys some examples, but here's more. You could go past the 2 decimals, make it 3 decimals, whatever you need there for your app. And here's examples of the different date formats along with time. converting values, let's say numeric values, to
Mhm.
text. Now, a GUID looks like a text, but they're a bunch of hexadecimal values with dashes in them. So you may want to convert, like if you're working with a data source that does not, like SQL Server has what's called a unique identifier, and that is a GUID type of data type. And Dataverse seems to have a unique identifier, but from my experience, it doesn't allow you to create your own. It always creates one as the primary key for a table, but I've never seen unique identifier as a data type that I can pick when I create a new column. So if you want to have other GUIDs, you might have to do just that. Or if you're using SharePoint, you don't have a unique identifier type. Matt, do you feel like you're a text function expert, or at least somebody could use it in any way that you needed to know
Yeah,
how?
yeah,
Very
sounds good.
good.